Do you feel pain when going upstairs, bending down, getting up from a chair, or even when walking? Relax, you are not alone, and most importantly, you are not doomed to live like this. Even if you have osteoarthritis, old injuries, or have spent years enduring discomfort, there is a real way to regain strength, stability, and move without pain. It's not just about exercises, but about retraining your muscles, improving hip and ankle mobility, and learning to correctly distribute the load across the entire leg. Many times, the real problem is not the knee itself, but accumulated tension, muscle imbalances, or habits such as walking or sitting incorrectly that wear down the joint. That's why, in addition to strengthening quadriceps and glutes, it's essential to dedicate a few minutes each day to gentle stretching, use cold after exercise to calm inflammation, apply heat at rest to relax the muscles, and above all, listen to your body's signals. With these small adjustments and consistency, it is possible to reduce pain and regain confidence to move again without fear. That is why, in this video you will discover 2 simple and safe exercises that transform your knees without harming them, recovery strategies that really work, the forgotten secret to fully activating your quadriceps, and how to relieve pain without pills or surgery. It doesn't matter your age or physical condition, you will be able to run, walk, or simply get up without fear again, and it all starts today. Exercise 1. Isometric lunge. One of the most common problems that causes knee pain when training is not just the intensity or the weight you lift, but incorrect technique in movements that are apparently simple, like isometric lunges. This question comes up frequently: how to do isometric lunges without hurting your knees? And it's a totally justified concern, because when the knee suffers micro shifts, poorly distributed loads, or misalignment, the risk of patellar irritation, tendon inflammation, and cartilage wear increases significantly. Scientific evidence explains that patellofemoral pain, one of the most frequent causes of discomfort in the front of the knee, is often associated not so much with a structural failure of the cartilage, but with poor movement patterns and muscle imbalances between the quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings. That's why it's not enough to just push through or do more reps. The key lies in conscious execution, teaching the muscles to work in a balanced way, protecting the joint, and avoiding localized overloads. The correct technique for isometric lunges is a great example of a functional exercise supported by studies that demonstrate its benefits for strengthening the lower body without generating the impact that worsens conditions such as osteoarthritis or patellar pain. To do it safely, position yourself in a lunge stance, as if freezing a long step or holding a yoga posture, for example, the warrior pose. Keep your chest upright, back straight, and core engaged. This detail is essential because the deep muscles stabilize the pelvis, preventing the supporting knee from moving inward, a very common mistake known as valgus collapse. Hold the position for about 10 seconds, making sure the weight is distributed in the center of the foot. If you load too much on the heel, the work falls almost entirely on the glutes and hamstrings. If you load on the toes, you overload the patellar tendon and the distal quadriceps. Biomechanical studies have shown that balanced load distribution significantly reduces joint stress and distributes effort throughout the entire kinetic chain of the leg. Rest a few seconds and repeat. This exercise does not require a large range of motion, but it does require concentration. It's like teaching the muscles to coordinate without the joint paying the price. A key tip, and here is where the great value of the functional approach comes in, is to use supports if you initially feel instability or pain: a wall, a stick, a TRX, or even a door frame. Why? Because by reducing external load, you allow the muscles to activate without the joint absorbing excess tension. Over time, you can progressively increase the duration of the isometric hold, or even add light resistance, such as 1 to 3 kilograms dumbbells, to keep progressing. The goal is for this posture to be not just an exercise, but a neuromuscular training that teaches the glutes, quadriceps, and hamstrings to work together. In scientific terms, we are talking about proprioception and motor control, 2 factors that, according to multiple rehabilitation studies, are key to preventing relapses and reducing chronic pain. Furthermore, as it is an isometric exercise, there is very little joint movement, which protects the cartilage and avoids repetitive microtrauma, something especially valuable for people with early-stage osteoarthritis or patellofemoral chondromalacia. In short, well-executed isometric lunges are much more than holding a posture. They are a form of intelligent and protective training that combines strength, stability, and motor re-education. Their benefit goes beyond the quadriceps. They also activate the glutes, lumbar muscles, and the core, which are essential for aligning the hip and keeping the knee stable. If you complement this exercise with gentle stretches for the hamstrings and psoas, which, when tight, can pull on the knee and increase pain, and recovery techniques such as cold or heat depending on the case, the results can be surprising even in people who have been suffering from pain for years. As physical therapy studies show, strengthening without impact and improving neuromuscular control not only reduces pain, but also improves quality of life and restores confidence to walk, climb stairs, or simply get up from a chair without fear. Science supports that it is not about enduring more, but about training better. And isometric lunges, performed with awareness and proper technique, are one of the simplest and most effective tools to begin that journey. Exercise 2. Wall sit. The wall sit is much more than staying still, leaning against the wall. It is a science-backed technique that allows you to safely activate and strengthen all the muscles that protect the knees, even in people with osteoarthritis, muscle weakness, or old injuries. Unlike the conventional dynamic squat, which involves repeated flexion and extension movements, and which can irritate the joint if there is instability or damaged cartilage, the wall sit uses isometric contractions, that is, muscle tension without joint movement. This is key because, as biomechanical studies describe, keeping the knee static minimizes patellar compression and reduces the risk of micro-injuries to tendons and ligaments. The exercise begins simply. Place your back against the wall, slide your feet forward until your knees are aligned over your ankles, avoiding letting them go too far forward, which overloads the patellar tendon, and distribute the weight in the center of the foot, avoiding leaning excessively on the heels or toes. This detail is crucial. If the weight shifts to the heels, activation is concentrated only in the glutes and hamstrings. If it shifts too far forward to the toes, the patellar tendon and the front of the knee receive excessive tension. Start with 20 seconds, but intelligent progression is vital. Gradually increase the time or add repetitions instead of forcing unnecessary movements or loads. According to Supanitsky's 2008 research, isometric work not only protects cartilage, but also improves eccentric strength, that is, the muscle's ability to slow down movement, a determining factor for preventing injuries during walking, going down stairs, or sports practice. The most interesting thing about the wall sit is that it allows you to personalize the stimulus thanks to very simple but effective variations. For example, if you place a resistance band above your knees and apply gentle outward pressure, you activate the abductor muscles and especially the gluteus medius, a key element for lateral knee stability. This muscle is often weak in people with osteoarthritis, valgus knees, or patellofemoral pain, and strengthening it reduces the tendency of the knee to collapse inward, a movement known as valgus collapse. On the other hand, if you place a ball or block between your knees and press gently, you activate the adductor muscles on the inner thigh, which also contribute to stability. This combination of internal and external strength balances the joint and improves neuromuscular control, something fundamental according to studies like Ageberg et al., 2010, which show that exercises working proprioception and balanced activation of all stabilizing muscles significantly reduce chronic pain and the risk of relapses. Another great benefit is that the wall sit can be practiced even by older adults or after surgery, since intensity is adjustable and it involves no impact. In addition, the upright position helps maintain proper hip and spine alignment, strengthening the core and helping prevent lower back pain associated with leg muscle imbalances. It is a functional exercise that trains the body globally, something often forgotten when we focus solely on working the quadriceps. But why is the wall sit especially effective for cases like pain when bending down or climbing stairs, unstable knees due to osteoarthritis, or weakness after an injury? The answer lies in its ability to improve muscle recruitment without subjecting the joint to excessive friction. Various studies show that after an injury or surgery, the quadriceps often forgets how to activate in a coordinated way, a phenomenon known as arthrogenic inhibition. Isometric work helps reactivate that brain-muscle connection, restoring strength without forcing movement. At the same time, it strengthens the glutes and hamstrings, which, by sharing the load, reduce direct stress on the patella and tibia. Additionally, the wall sit improves local muscular endurance. It's not just about lifting weight, but about maintaining contraction for seconds or minutes, something much closer to what you need in real life, for example, when standing, climbing stairs, or carrying weight while walking. It is such a simple exercise that it can be practiced at home, in the office, or even while watching TV, removing the "I don't have time" barrier that so often limits rehabilitation. The key lies in the technique, keeping the knees aligned over the ankles, the back supported, and avoiding letting the pelvis slide too far down, a mistake that increases patellofemoral pressure. This conscious control of movement is, in itself, a form of neuromuscular re-education, which has proven effects on chronic pain and the prevention of new injuries. Thus, the wall sit is not just an exercise to strengthen the thigh, it is a complete tool to restore confidence, improve knee alignment, reinforce key muscles, quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, adductors, and core, and reprogram the nervous system to move the joint more safely and efficiently. Complemented with gentle stretches for hamstrings, quadriceps, and hips, recovery techniques, such as cold after exercise or heat at rest, and controlled progression, it becomes a powerful ally for those who suffer from pain when climbing stairs, unstable knees due to osteoarthritis, or weakness after surgery or injury. As multiple scientific reviews conclude, success lies not only in absolute strength, but in neuromuscular control and the ability to distribute the load among all the muscles in the leg. And the wall sit, with its variations, is one of the simplest, safest, and most effective ways to achieve this. More than an exercise, it is a daily lesson in body awareness that can restore freedom of movement and, above all, the peace of mind of using your knees again without fear. A very common mistake made by both experienced athletes and people who simply want to move without pain is becoming obsessed with loosening or bending the knee more, believing that the greater the flexion range achieved, the better the joint will be. But science and biomechanics explain that this is only half the story. Full knee extension, that is, being able to bring it to a fully straight position, soft lock, not forced, is just as important as deep flexion. Why? Because if you cannot fully straighten the knee, your quadriceps never activate at 100%. And this is more serious than it seems. The quadriceps are the main dynamic stabilizers of the knee, responsible for absorbing impact, slowing movement, and protecting cartilage from repeated stress. If you always keep the knee slightly bent, every step you take maintains residual tension in the front part of the joint, especially on the patellar tendon and the patella. Over time, this generates chronic overload, micro-injuries, inflammation of the suprapatellar bursa, and wear of the patellofemoral cartilage, increasing the risk of osteoarthritis, chronic pain, or instability. Think of it like working the triceps. If you never fully extend the elbow, you will never develop all the strength and muscle control in the arm. The same happens with the quadriceps. Without full extension, activation is partial and less effective. A science-backed solution focuses on dedicating a few minutes daily to gently stretching the hamstrings and calves, especially after training or walking. Excessive tension in the hamstrings and gastrocnemius, the most superficial calf muscle, indirectly limits knee extension by pulling the tibia backward and forcing you to walk with the knee semi-flexed. Studies such as Sudam SM's in 2015 have shown that greater hamstring stiffness alters knee kinematics during walking, increasing patellofemoral pressure and the likelihood of anterior pain. Incorporating these stretches, along with specific joint mobility work, for example, active extension movements without resistance, can help you unlock those last degrees of extension. This small change can make a big difference: more muscle activation, better alignment when walking or climbing stairs, and less long-term wear. And remember, full extension should not feel like hyperextending or forcing the joint. It should be a soft lock, without pain and controlled by the muscles, never by the passive joint. Thus, strengthening the muscles that stabilize the knee is essential, but many people forget that the tissue needs to recover. Without proper recovery, even the best exercises can end up worsening the pain. This is where science offers US practical tools. Applying ice after physical activity, if you notice inflammation or discomfort, helps reduce the inflammatory response and control pain naturally, without the need for medication. But it's not just about ice. Gentle movement, such as walking slowly or pedaling without resistance, is almost like oil for the engine of your knees. This type of exercise stimulates the release of synovial fluid, which lubricates and nourishes the cartilage, preventing it from deteriorating due to lack of circulation. Studies on knee osteoarthritis, such as Benel K. Else in 2015, have shown that light physical activity is more effective at reducing pain and improving function than complete rest. In addition, scheduled rest is part of training. If after a session you feel sharp pain, instability, or obvious inflammation, give your body a day off. Remember, more is not always better. The principle of progressive overload states that progress comes from small increments of stimulus followed by recovery periods, where the tissue adapts and strengthens. Even elite athletes have had to learn this. There are times when you can train with high loads without pain, and others when the same exercise causes discomfort. The key is to listen to your body and adjust intensity. Always differentiate between the normal burning of the muscle, which is a sign of fatigue, and sharp, acute pain that worsens with activity, which indicates overload or imminent injury. If the latter appears, stop, review your technique, reduce the load, and return when it disappears. Therefore, these exercises and care routines are not tricks or temporary solutions. They work because they are aligned with basic principles of biomechanics, neuroscience, and rehabilitation. First, they activate the stabilizing muscles of the knee, not just the quadriceps, but also the glutes, hamstrings, and calves. A key 2005 study demonstrated that improving coordinated activation of these muscles reduces pain and prevents relapses. Second, these exercises distribute the load among several structures, instead of concentrating it only on the front part of the knee, where patellofemoral pain usually appears. Third, by being controlled movements, they avoid abrupt gestures that irritate the cartilage or synovial bursae. Fourth, they improve proprioception, that is, the ability to feel and control the position of the joint, something that is often lost after an injury or with age. The sum of all this allows athletes to return to activities like running or skiing without fear, and older people with osteoarthritis to walk, climb stairs, or get up from a chair with more confidence and less pain. Dedicate just 10 to 15 minutes a day to strengthen and mobilize, take care of your technique, don't forget the importance of full extension, and respect recovery times. You don't need to be a professional athlete to protect your knees. The key is consistency, body awareness, and training smart, not just hard. If this content helps you, give this video a like, share it with someone who also suffers from knee problems, and subscribe to the channel to receive more practical tips, always based on science and focused on the most important thing, that you can live without pain and move freely every day. Your body and your health will thank you. Thank you for watching this video, and see you soon.